Hi Stampers, this is Marie Bennett at blackberriesandcream.net, and in this video we're going to make this card. But before we get started, I want to remind everyone that on January 4th, 2016, I'm giving away this retired stamp set, Petal Potpourri, and the coordinating punch, which is called the Medallion Punch. And this punch is still available in the annual catalog. Alright, so to make this card, we're going to be using 4 stamp sets. Flower Shop, Gorgeous Grunge, which I love this stamp set. If you don't have it, you should be considering adding it to your collection because it's been in the catalog for a couple of years and it may be coming to an end. We'll know more in June. But I would order this stamp set if I were you. And watercolor wings, and then a new stamp set that will be available in the new Occasions catalog, January 5th, 2016. This is called Grateful Bunch. And out of this set, I'm just going to be using this sentiment that says, "And I am totally grateful." And out of this one, we're going to be using the small butterfly. This one, and then the little one for the middle. And I'm using the body and the antenna and the one that says, "You are so kind." So this is watercolor wings. We're using quite a few stamps out of this one. And out of the Flower Shop, I'm using this open flower design and the Pansy punch that goes with it. And out of the Gorgeous Grunge, I'm just using this streaky line design. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started making this card. So the products we're using to make the card are a piece of Sahara sand cardstock, cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and given a crease with a bone folder. Then we also need a piece of vellum. You could use a piece of vellum scrap. If you're only going to make one card, you would only need a piece 1/4 this size. And then 3 pieces of Whisper White that are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So for the inside of the card, I've already stamped that. And I used that streaky line design to make just a corner frame here in Sahara Sand ink. And then in basic black archival ink, I stamped the "And I am totally grateful." This goes on the inside of the card, and I'm going to adhere that with snail adhesive. Oops, ran out. Okay, gets an 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. Okay, so for this layer of the card, we have quite a bit of stamping to do, and I've already done some of it. I've created the streaky corner. And then the next thing I need to do is take my open flower stamp, and in Smoky Slate I'm going to stamp 2 flower images right over the top of that. Hope I didn't get it. No, I didn't. One here, and then another one right here. And that's all we're using the Smoky Slate for. Then behind the butterfly, I've used the splatter pattern from the Gorgeous Grunge, this one right here, and I'm going to stamp that in Sahara Sand. Just right there. Okay. Alright, now in the basic black again, I need the sentiment, "You are so kind." And it's going to go right here at the bottom. Okay. Alright, now we need to start working on the butterfly. On the card below this vellum layer of the butterfly, I have stamped the butterfly in two colors. I'm using Sahara Sand for the light color, and that's going to be in the bigger plain stamp. Just decide where you want this butterfly to be positioned and stamp that right there. Okay. Then I'm using Cherry Cobbler. I like Sahara Sand and Cherry Cobbler together. I think that's a really pretty combination. So Cherry Cobbler, full strength, with this larger butterfly that it really just stamps an outline on the outside of the wing. So I'll put that over the top. There we go. And then the body, or the center part of the wing, I'm just using this small fill-in design, and I'm going to stamp off. So stamp off and then stamp on. There. Now this butterfly has a body and some antennae, and I'm going to stamp those in the archival basic black. Start with the body. It's a very small little stamp. And then the antenna. Are right here. I have another stamp on the back side. I'll peel that off so you can see just the antenna. There you go. There. Cute. Alright, now for dimension on, well, let's go ahead and just adhere this to the card, and then we'll work on adding the dimension. I'm going to adhere this to the front of the card using snail adhesive. And about 1/8 of an inch border. Alright. Now for this pansy looking flower, that's what they call the flower punch, a pansy punch. What I've done is in Cherry Cobbler, I stamped on Whisper White cardstock, and then using my sponge dauber, because I don't want a white flower, I want it to be filled in. So using my sponge dauber, I start coloring off to the side of the image like that, and then work my way around, and then you just keep adding color until you've got whatever variation of color you want. And if you look at this Pansy punch, you see that this leaf has a little notch in it. So this is the one right here that you want to line up with the petal of the flower that has an extra little spot. And I think that's this one. I think right here. Alright, look at that. I got it right the first try. Okay. So for the center of the flower, I have taken some of these white perfect accents, that little white enamel dots, or it could even be acrylic, I don't know, and colored them with a permanent marker, like a Bic alcohol marker type of a marker. And that's going to go right in the center. And I want my flower to curl up a little bit, not a lot on the edges, so I'm just going to use my thumb and just kind of work it up, give it a little bit of a curl, but not as much as I would get with a bone fold. Okay, now I need my glue dots, and I'm going to add some glue dots to the back. And just, whoops, oh, I almost forgot. See, this happened to be in my last video. I forgot the details. The detail is I need some linen thread and I'm going to put just a little wisp of linen behind this flower. So I'll cut it about there. And I like to make kind of a little figure 8 sort of a thing. And I'm going to put some glue dots right here on the front of the card. I got myself rattled. So now I can't find anything even though it's right under my nose. Okay. Put a couple glue dots down there to stick this linen thread to. Right there, just kind of a loose figure 8 of it. Alright, now over the top of that I'm going to put my flower that has 3 dimensionals on it. Stick it down really good. There we go. Now I have one more detail, and that's the butterfly. So we've got the basic butterfly on the card. And what I've done is stamped on vellum in cherry cobbler. So I have the darker edges in full strength ink, and then the center I stamped off and then stamped on the butterfly using cherry cobbler. So now I'm going to go over to my Big Shot, and using one of the dies from the butterfly die set, I'm going to cut out one of these butterflies. I'll be right back. And just a word of caution, when you're working with vellum, the ink does not dry on vellum the way it does on paper. So what you need to do is use your heat gun and blow the ink dry, or plan ahead and do your vellum stamping one day and make your card the next. But you won't be able to use this unless you've done one of those two things, because the ink will just get on your fingers and smudge and ruin your image. Alright, so where's my card? On the card, you can see that I've taken this and given it some dimension by folding it down the center, and also by adding some little black rhinestones. So we're going to do that. We'll do the rhinestones first, and these are the basic jewel rhinestones from Stampin' Up. And I have, using my black Bic permanent marker, I have colored groups of 3 rhinestones black. I'm going to use my paper snips and get a group of 3 rhinestones and place it right down the center of this butterfly, right where the body would be. And the reason I did that first is because these little rhinestones are almost the exact width of the body of the butterfly. So now if I just kind of fold it like that around the rhinestones, then it just gives it a little bit of a V shape. So I need to get my glue dots, and we're going to adhere this to the card using one glue dot, and I just roll it. I just want a rolled up glue dot. So so there you can see, maybe see the little roll of glue dot on the end of my finger, and it's going to go on the back of the vellum butterfly. Hopefully it'll stick to it and not to me. There we go. And then I want to adhere this by positioning those rhinestones right above that black body I stamped. There you have it. That's the finished card. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this card, and I hope you'll go to my website and enter the drawing. So follow the link below this video and leave me some contact information so I can get a hold of you when you win. Okay, thanks for watching, and happy stampin'.